Welcome everybody, my name is Michael, and today we're discussing about very exciting news. First of all, if you've been living under a rock and had no idea what was going on with Bitcoin and suddenly logged on to see that $37,246 and all the market cap, altcoins and Bitcoin being at $1.41 trillion and rising, you're going to get very excited. Very bullish news. Just 1 month ago, on the 22nd, we were trading at 29,800, and the very next day at around 9 p.m., it was at $34,583, and it continued to jump from there. Now, it's never a straight line to the top. There were peaks where people decided, hey, I'm going to sell here, and it would go down a little bit. But over the next couple of days, up until we get into November 1st, we're already talking a peak of over 35,700 to be quite honest. And then we go about a week later on the 9th, we're at 36,000. And really, there was one point in time where on the 9th at around 8 in the morning, it went above 37,000 and immediately dropped down, $800 again because people freaked out. This was the first time we've hit $37,000 in well over a year. This was massive news. And then it crashed a little bit. Not really a crash. It was just people taking their profits. And currently it was going over the past week steadily to where we are right now, where again, $37,265 with Ethereum well over $2,000. Huge volume over the past 24 hours, $17 billion in trading. And people are getting excited. Well, why is that? Historically, in November and in December, we've seen not always, but we've seen a very, very good trading atmosphere. First of all, it's right around the holidays. It's right before Black Friday and Thanksgiving and Christmas and spending gifts and Christmas bonuses. And people are in the holiday season. They decide, hey, this is the time to buy right now. This is the time to get very excited and let's invest. Let's be hopeful about what's going to bring in the new year, right? And typically before the new year, especially a new year where you're going to have a Bitcoin halving, there's a lot of excitement. Bitcoin halving doesn't always mean right before and right after you're going to get insane profits. No, it's probably going to take months and months and it's going to be steady. But Bitcoin halvings, historically, Bitcoin has gone up. That's just the main factor. There's a huge incentive for it to go up. It's all about supply and demand. Bitcoin halving, well, what's the significance of it? The mining difficulty goes up, so the halving amount decreases in terms of the new Bitcoins that are generated per block. With that, supply and demand. Since the supply of new Bitcoins is lower and there's a finite amount, it means that you're making this way more expensive. So maybe it's not going to be an impact immediately, but over a course of a couple of months, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to get interested back into it again. And it's every 4 years, roughly. So right now we're looking 149 days, 19 hours, 48 minutes from me making this video. Today, Monday, 8:47 in the morning, November 20th. So roughly April 18th, 2024, but it could be the next day, it could be a day prior. We don't really know. As we get closer to the date, it's probably going to be that day, but we won't know up until exactly, probably a couple weeks or months before, and we still won't know the exact hours and whatnot. With that, the reason for it is we don't know the exact time it's going to take these miners to go through each block because it's random. It is depending on how fast these computers are able to solve these very complex mathematical problems. And sometimes it might take 20 minutes longer than it should have. Who knows? And, you times that by a couple thousand and there we go. So with that, right now, we have 22,339 more blocks until the halving. Now, this is very exciting. So we've got a bunch of stuff going on. We have, in the wintertime, huge holiday celebrations. Also, right now, we have to take a look at what's going on in the markets, where right now, it's not a great time. The U.S. economy in 2023, most people have jobs. Yes, there's a job demand, high job demand for certain categories of jobs, either jobs such as, hey, there's a real demand in hospitals for RNs and whatever, right? Or maybe for logistics, you need warehouse workers because, hey, right now it's seasonal right now before the holidays. You need hundreds of thousands of extra workers because people are going crazy with the Postal Service and Amazon and whatnot. Or very, very badly paid jobs, minimum wage, jobs that will be replaced by AI in the future, but right now they're still necessary. Maybe it's temporary. Maybe a lot of people left those jobs. Maybe they got fired. Maybe something happened and nobody really wants those jobs. I mean, nothing bad against them. We've all worked them. I mean, most of us have worked minimum wage jobs, right? And at the beginning of your career, maybe your first job ever, maybe a teenager job, something that wasn't that great or maybe just above minimum wage job. But my very first actual job was a lifeguard. Wasn't paid that well, especially working at the high school, but it was a job. I wasn't complaining at the time. I was like, 16 years old? So 17, something like that. Anyways, with that, a lot of people have jobs. Unemployment is getting a little bit better, but it's not necessarily the types of jobs most people want. Yes, there's those who have bachelor's and masters and all that, but even then, there's the bachelor's is like a high school diploma, so you have to go for your master's and train of thought. And in some spheres, it is actually accurate. That's how employers are now looking at things in certain industries. So you have a huge category of people, entry-level jobs, especially if they just graduated college. You go on LinkedIn, and some of these jobs have thousands of applicants. You go on Indeed, you go on Monster.com, any of those, job websites, and within the first hour of posting, certain jobs have 300, 400 applicants, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, how am I going to get that? So if you have a bachelor's, if you have a master's, and you just graduated, and now you're going entry level, that's really bad because you're competing against hundreds of other applicants, which probably there's a very good probability that someone has a much better looking resume, a LinkedIn profile, CV, a whole experience than you. And also on top of that, you're either overqualified or underqualified. And in this time where now you have AI programs just sorting through, it's never even going to get to the HR recruiter's eyes. You have suddenly people who are very unhappy because they see there's a huge demand for jobs, but it's not the jobs that you want. It's for the minimum wage jobs. So now you have people with bachelor's and masters who are temporarily taking these jobs that are in demand, but they don't necessarily want. And with that, people are unhappy about their money, not only because they're not earning where they believe they should be, whether you have a degree or not, but also with inflation. Even if you were making the same amount of money, or let's say you had a 1% increase since last year, great, wow, you were making $60,000, now you're making $60,600, fantastic, but you just lost money, you lost purchasing power because inflation is massive. And a lot of people, especially in cryptocurrency, what the government's putting out there, and this can go into conspiracy theory territory or whatnot, but leaning away from that, inflation is a lot higher than the average inflation that is put out there. 2, 3, 4%. Well, certain products, you go to Costco or Walmart and you see certain products, and this isn't, I get it, the average inflation is something totally different. It has to take into account, a whole basket of goods and groceries and everything. But take a look at a specific item. Take a look at a coffee or, cranberry juice or Christmas decorations or a candle or something like that, perfume. And you realize that the exact same product 1 year ago cost not 2% less or 5%. Some of these products had a 25 to 30% increase. Some are even crazier. Some you see the price increase, but also in terms of food or in terms of any goods, paper towels or plastic bags, you see a reduction. Instead of, hey, there's 64 bags for $5.99, now for $6.89, you have 12 bags less. And people realize this, and they're going, okay, this is crazy. And you go grocery shopping, and now it costs you $30 more per visit, $40 more. You go to the gas pump was crazy this year. And yes, you have this massive economic uncertainty, but you also have wars going on, especially in the regions where a lot of this oil and gas is coming from. And just every single sector of your life, boom, 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 you're getting hit. People are deeply unhappy. That's why they're looking to crypto as, hey, maybe this is the savior. And it's not. It is something that if you diversify properly, if you do your research, it can certainly help you as a long-term investment. If you don't invest in the wrong altcoins, if you look straight into the top coins that have an actual project and a lot of a good reputation, a lot of aspects going for it, where they're actually going to redesign everything or revolutionize or whatever, and you might make a little bit of money. But as long as you look at it as a higher risk investment, but hey, I can diversify this risk if I have a little bit into mutual funds, if I have a little bit into crypto, if I have a little bit into, I don't know, you pick your own tech stocks or whatever. You have all this risk spread out, then you might be able to make some money. But there's going to be a lot of people going into it that are like, I'm completely broke, I'm in debt, I've lost everything, my job, I'm not as happy with it, right? Because of the purchasing power. And this might be the savior. This might be the golden goose, the lottery ticket. Can I invest into it? So that's why you're seeing right before this new year, this craziness where people are very hyped about it. And some of it is delusional. Some of it is, well, this is historical. This is logical. This is what's going to happen right before the Bitcoin halving. So over the past month, the low we've seen is $29,720 for a Bitcoin and the high of $37,964. So almost $38,000. We haven't seen this in a very long time. And since we started talking about the market cap, it was at 1.41 trillion. Now it's at 1.42 trillion. The Fear and Greed Index is a very healthy 74. Could be a little bit better, but there's still a lot of uncertainty, and that's not just in crypto, but everything outside. So with that, very exciting time, because at least in the short term, we're still probably going to see some good gains right before the new year. We're seeing a lot of excitement. We're seeing a renewed interest in technology and Web 3.0. So with that, just wanted to thank you so much for watching this video. Please share your insights and overall what your thoughts about this past year have been. And if you enjoyed this content, please stay for the next videos. So maybe leave a comment, like, engage, subscription, and my secondary channels in the description below for AI. Thanks so much. You have a good one and take care.